in my life. I thought I'd have to do it all for myself, and I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was in hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, Friday, with my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only. Oh, I release, yeah. Let the Spirit and my life and my heart. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, my brother, with my faith on, see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Hey, I release, hey, and I let go. I let the Spirit from my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No, struggle with my faith. See the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself, and I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was in hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, Friday, with my faith I see the light. I am free. yes. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself, and I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was an end. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. My arms open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, with my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only. Oh, I release, yeah. Let the Spirit and my life and my heart. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, my brother, with my faith, see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Hey, I release, hey, and I let go. I let the Spirit from my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No, struggle with my faith. See the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah. Oh, yes. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself, and I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was an end. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. My arms open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, Friday, with my faith I see the light. I am free Oh, yes. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself, and I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was in him. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. My arms open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, God, with my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only. Oh, I release, yeah. Let the Spirit and my life and my heart. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, my brother, with my faith, see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Hey, I release, hey, and I let go. I let the Spirit from my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No, struggle with my faith. See the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah. Oh, yes. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself, and I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was in him. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We finished getting dressed here. All right. Welcome to our Sunday celebration. My name is Reggie Cap because I just got married. All right. I'm the operations manager here at Columbia CSL, and I'm a licensed practitioner, and I am here to serve you. Before we start, we would greatly appreciate if you would share this live stream to help us spread our message. I'll pause if you want to do that now. Anybody? All right, wonderful. At Columbia CSL, we live the truth of who we are through our identity, vision, and mission statements. Our new identity statement is we are a diverse community of belonging and growth, sharing the light and joy within ourselves while learning to see it in others. Our new vision states we are contributing to a world that works for everyone. And we carry out that vision through our mission. We are a welcoming, inclusive spiritual center where everyone can be seen and heard. We lovingly practice the principles of science of mind in the world. I invite you now to set an intention for this week. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to sink into the feeling of that intention right now. Open up to receive Spirit's guidance throughout our time together. All right, we have a saying here, singing or listening to music is like praying twice. And so we begin each service with a song. This week, it is my honor to welcome our very own singer-songwriter, Felicia Taylor.
Good morning, everybody. Ooh, I sound really quiet. Can you hear me? All right. This is a song that I wrote. It's called Calling All Souls. This song is really special to me. When I wrote it, that day I was really having a hard time just kind of connecting with God, connecting with myself. And I kind of sat down, I said a prayer, and this song is kind of what came to me through that moment.
Love holds me gentle like a flower, rising up to the sun to help me find the way. My soul is searching for the answers. My heart is open wide. That's when I hear you say, calling all souls. You better get ready. Here we go. When it starts to rain, why do we hide? Oh, when it's just God bringing things to life. The biggest question is why are we here? To never give up, never give in, keep up the good fight for love. That's when I hear you say, calling all souls. You better get ready. Here we go now, calling all souls. We gotta keep fighting for love, keep up the good fight for love. That's when I hear you say, calling all souls. You gotta get ready to fight for the love we know. Calling all souls. You better get ready. Here we go now, calling all souls. We gotta keep fighting for love, keep up the good fight.
Oh my goodness, magnificent. Thank you. How fortunate are we? Oh my God. Thank you so much, Felicia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful. All right. If this is your first time experiencing Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, we welcome you and we thank you for being here today. We thank you for joining us. And we want you to know that no matter who you are or whatever your spiritual path, you are welcome here. We invite you to visit our website, www.columbiacsl.com, to learn more about our spiritual community. This is where you can replay past services and find articles and other resources. And please check out the calendar so you can keep up with everything that's going on here. And if there's something that's going on here and it's not on our calendar, contact me and let me know and say, hey, Reg, get on it. That actually happened this week with somebody. So it's good. All right. So before we go any further, I have a few announcements. Howard County Pride is happening on October 9th, and we are a vendor at this event. So we're looking for a couple of more volunteers to be in service at our table just for a couple of hours. So please speak with Dr. Lisa Gordon after service or email us at info@columbiacsl.com if you're interested in helping. Our Science of Mind magazine club is meeting virtually tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. So join this lively and fun group for an in-depth conversation and spiritual connection. And if you need more information about how to sign up or what it's all about, see Jody after service. All right, on Saturday, our creatives group is scheduled from 3 to 5 p.m. They seem like they have so much fun. Look at those smiles. All right, it's an in-person gathering, or you can gather or join virtually if you prefer. There's the contact information. So let's see, our rebranding process is moving right along, and your input is vital in creating a new foundation for growth and well-being. Did you see our community survey? Did you fill it out? Did you submit it? If not, we hope you do. And if you didn't get it, see me after service and I'll make sure to forward you the link. And this Tuesday at 7 p.m., we will be continuing the discussion and getting more of your input at our monthly town hall meeting. I encourage all of you to attend. We'll be discussing what is of value to you as a member of this community. And the Board of Trustees will use this information as they create a short-term strategic plan. And our last announcement for today is that our workshop, Dissolving Our Defenses, it's been postponed a couple times, but it's being held this coming Sunday, September 19th from 2 to 4:30 p.m. If you've already signed up, I'll send out an email reminder to you. And if you haven't signed up, there's still time and there's still room. So it's the last of the Conscious Transition series workshops with Dr. Nadine. And it should be great. So for more information and to sign up for any of our events, please visit our calendar, www.columbiacsl.com, or feel free to email us again at info@columbiacsl.com. Stay informed through our weekly newsletters, and if you're not currently receiving the newsletter, again, see me after service and I'll get you signed up. All right, and now let us consciously engage in spiritual practice together. We invite you to settle in, to center yourself in this moment. Find that sacred place within, where spirit is all there is. We will have a contemplative reading by Dr. Lisa Gordon, and then a guided meditation followed by an affirmative prayer by Jody Davidson.
Good morning. Today's reading comes from this month's Science of Mind magazine, and it is by our beloved Dr. Raymont Anderson. We're getting a double dose, and we must really need Reverend Ray today. I've missed him. The title of the reading is Lift Our Eyes to the Hills by Dr. Raymont Anderson. Ernest Holmes in Spiritual Awareness, page 17 says, "The great power is always near, ready at any time to help, but we must use it according to its own nature in harmony with its law." The psalmist in Psalms 121:1 a song of ascents asks, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? Does the help come from a separate anthropomorphic God? The psalmist continues, my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Although this is most certainly true, that help comes in the manner in which each of us embodies the Lord. God is active as each of us. You are the face, the life, the body of God. And if change is to occur, help is to come, comfort is to be given, a world that works for all to be manifested, then it is done through each of us, by each of us, as each of us. There is no one out there who will do it for us. What stands before us is the infinite potential and possibility of the world we envision. In times of global tragedy, the various communities of the world have come together to offer support, as they did when tragedy struck on 9/11, 20 years ago. The global community responds to hurricanes, floods, tsunamis, nuclear reactor meltdowns, terrorism, and more. What of the personal earthquakes in the lives of children who go to bed hungry? The individual experiences of terrorism when another unarmed Black person is shot by the police. The various hurricanes in the lives of women who navigate a culture of degradation and abuse in all its forms. We are the ones called to heal the world. As we move into meditation, let us speak and make this a personal affirmation. I live, move, and act as a healing agent in the world. The Spirit as my being is capable of doing a mighty work, and I am ready to serve. And so it is. Namaste.
Let us continue deepening into our practice. As we live, we move, and we act as healing agents in the world. How powerful is that? And we continue by focusing on self through this mindful meditation practice. No, there's no right way to meditate. Simply allow it to happen. No need to worry about the outcome. What a blessing it is to just be. Give yourself permission to do so. Experiencing, not controlling. Extraneous thoughts coming in and going out, coming in, going out. What a perfect opportunity to reflect on what's most meaningful. Sit with that intention that you called forward earlier. It begins here and now, choosing to amplify that which you focus on. And in doing so, in being more so perhaps than doing, you're so much more likely to manifest that which you intend. Is there a mantra that supports your effort of that which is most important? I am love. I am happy. I am harmony. I am worthy. I am peace. I am in the here and now. What is it for you? Call forward that intention. Allow yourself to relax. Let your muscles become loose. almost elastic. Start with your feet. We sometimes take for granted that which grounds us on Mother Earth. Relaxing your ankles and your legs, your lower legs, into your knees. Our knees carry so much for us. Our upper legs, pelvis, torso, your back. We focus on our front so much more often than we do on our back. And it's the yin and the yang, the both and, the energy that carries forward through that structure that is the gift of us. Shoulders, dropping your shoulders, allowing your arms to just relax, almost jelly-like. Your hands, our fingers. Relax your jaw and your head and your face. You feel that relaxation coming through loosely, and remembering as you drop in, what is your intention? Stay with that intention and turn your attention towards your breathing. Notice and be grateful for the gift of breath. Not trying to change it in any way, just allowing, observing. And those thoughts that keep coming through, it's okay. Allow them, hold them lightly, and then let them pass as you focus on your intention. Stay with it, here and now. Here and now, here and now. Breathe in, breathe out naturally, slowly. Take your time. There's nothing else to do but be right here, right now. Flowing, flowing. Be gentle. No efforting. This is your time for you. Intention at the forefront. Bring it back. Acknowledge the sacred moment that we are in. Good for you for choosing, for making the choice to affirm your highest self. I am love. Honor yourself. I am worthy. Support yourself. I am capable. I am connected. I can ask for the support that I need. And as you access your desires and your intention, know that you, by nature of that focus, are transforming. You're evolving and you're realizing your greatest potential, your highest self. And that, beloveds, is a miracle in the making. Breathe in, life. Breathe out. That's the life force that is you. May you be washed over in peace, joy, and love in this moment, in the day ahead, in all the days to come. Please join me in this affirmative prayer. God is all there is, one universal life source, the creator of the creation of all that is. I am an individualized expression of God. I am beauty. I am love. I am peace. And what I know is that today brings gifts of clarity. I remain open to all the possibilities that are emerging as I live my life with intention. And at the same time, I acknowledge that life as I know it can change in an instant, like it did for so many 20 years ago, like it did for all of us, a blink of an eye. And yet I'm so grateful to be supported by God, to be supported by this community and our spiritual practices, and to be supported by my choice of being my highest self in each moment. I simply relax. I surrender. I allow life to reveal as it is, knowing that the law says yes to this or something greater. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Jody, for that reminder, and to Dr. Lisa for that beautiful spiritual practice. Okay, come back. All right, in this spiritual community, our practitioners and ministers are eager to know the truth with you. We invite you to leave your prayer request in our prayer box. Okay, it says point to the box. Anytime before leaving today. For our virtual viewers, feel free to email your request for prayer or counseling to prayer@columbiacsl.com, and that goes to anybody. And we will hold your truth in prayer throughout the week. It goes to the whole team. And now it's my pleasure to introduce once again Felicia Taylor. Woo!
We've been living so wrong, we don't know which way we're supposed to go, so just stop and say, I thank God, amen, I'm alive today. Don't try to worry about the little things, keep your head up and ride away. Open your heart, let the love flow free. You just gotta believe. Everybody in this together. We're on the way, we're on the way. We're on the way, we're on the way. Now's the time for us to be as one. We're on the way, we're on the way. We're on the way to a brighter day. We've got to believe in one another. We know times are rough all around, but we can't sit here stopping our feet on the ground. It's time to wake up and see all the potential that's inside you and me. Our hearts go out to those that lost their lives. Thankful for those that have survived. I'm thankful every day that I'm alive. We're all just trying to survive. Everybody in this together. We're on the way, we're on the way. We're on the way, we're on the way. Now's the time for us to be as one. We're on the way, we're on the way. We're on the way to a brighter day. To a brighter day. We've got to believe in one another. Everybody, we're in this together. We're on the way, we're on the way. We're on the way, we're on the way. Now's the time for us to be as one. We're on the way, we're on the way. We're on the way, we're on the way. Everybody, we're in this together. We're on the way, we're on the way. We're on the way, we're on the way. Now's the time for us to be as one. We're on the way, we're on the way. We're on the way to a brighter day. We've got to believe in one another. Oh, 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 oh.
Thank you, Felicia. Oh my gosh, I never want that to end. That's so beautiful. All right, we are an affiliate member of the Centers for Spiritual Living, And we believe that making spiritual connections is vital. And Centers for Spiritual Living offers so many different platforms and opportunities for our community. Each one of us, an opportunity for each one of us to reach beyond what and who we presently know. I'd like to invite our board treasurer, Claudette Gadsden, who is also a member of the CSL Laity Committee, to share about our global connection. Yay, Claudette. Yay.
Good morning. Good morning. It is so wonderful to be here to see all of these beautiful faces. It is my honor to serve as the treasurer of our Board of Trustees, as well as to serve on the CSL Member Council. And so our vision on the council is an expansive, heart-centered, connected community creating positive transformation. We represent the general membership by giving them a voice. That's each and every one of us at every center within the global community. So we provide resources and information that enhance your personal engagement. We do this by creating and facilitating effective means of communication and dialogue among lay members, identifying, encouraging, and promoting participation and engagement on all levels. We act as an advocate for you. So to help facilitate this, we recently sent out an email to about 18,000 email accounts. And what we were trying to do is find out how to better connect with our member communities, share information and resources, and understand that even though we've been in effect for about 10 years, a lot of people don't know of our existence. So we are really hoping to change that. And so we're here, like I said, to serve members, and we're working diligently to ensure that our members know that their voices are heard and that we hear you. And so one thing we've started doing, or one thing I've started doing, is actually attending the CSL Connection calls. And these calls are held on the third Monday of every month. And the executive leadership team actually participates in these calls, and they let you know like what's happening in the community. And so here's a couple of things that I've learned from these calls. I've learned that we installed 11 new spiritual directors in the Latin American region. We have 17 new ministers that are coming in from other organizations. We have 40 new ministers that have completed their studies during the pandemic or in the last 18 months or so. We have 173 new practitioners, 3 new affiliate centers, and these are centers that were affiliated with other organizations that have decided to come to Centers for Spiritual Living. And there are 7 other centers that are in the process of affiliation. It is sometimes, easy for us to think that we're in this all alone, but we are not. We are a global organization who are touching and impacting the world. We even provide global service grants for organizations and communities who want to spread the teachings of the science of mind. On September 21st, we will be celebrating the 40th anniversary of the United Nations Day of Peace. And there will be an opportunity to drop into peace with 24 hourly 15-minute meditations starting at the top of the hour. They start on September 21st at 12 a.m. GMT, which is September 20th at 8 p.m. for us on the East Coast. I wanted to, and also listening to these calls and checking out the website to see all the information that we have available, I found out that Reverend Raymont Anderson is doing an ASL class for people that want to know more about our teachings. And so there's so much information to know, to learn about the global organization. And I just want to share that your gifts and your tithes are greatly appreciated. And not only do they serve our local community, but they serve the global community as a whole. So if you'd like to know more about the member council or any of the other councils, you can reach out to me or Io McClenny, because she's actually on the practitioners council. And so our community are rocking. We are doing it and we are out there. And I am so proud of the work that we do. So thank you so much. And again, it is an honor to serve you.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, Claudette. Appreciate that. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for the day, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, who asks, reaching higher for what? All right, Dr. Ray currently serves as the senior minister at the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. He's also an author, a visual artist, an ASL performing artist, which we just heard, and has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man and a visionary thought leader. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and transfiguration, he lives his bliss as a teacher, minister, speaker, workshop, seminar facilitator, mentor, father, grandfather, friend, and more. Please help me give a warm welcome to Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson.
So it's, I remember you from last time. So it's great to be here live and in person. Like, wow, this is, so let me start my timer because I know Jesse and someone will. So, how's everybody doing today? Okay, come on now. How's everybody doing today? I mean, you just heard, so amazing meditation, amazing prayer, amazing stuff going on in the community. Like, come on now, come on. How is everyone doing today? Recognizing that you are the infinite showing up in human form, how are you today? So today we're talking about this idea of reaching higher, right? And we do it for a lot of reasons. But there's nothing higher to reach for. Pause and breathe and take that in. How many of you love someone? Thank you, because I got ready to say. How high do you have to reach to access the love that you feel for whomever you love? Do you say wait, Dr. Lisa, what? Oh, it's already there, right? You don't have to reach for it. So same thing. How many of us are breathing at this present moment? Thank you. How high do you have to reach for that breath? In fact, when we're talking about grounding, which is down, and anchoring, which is down, we breathe more mindfully, but we don't reach for it. We're not chasing to get to it. And yet, when we're talking about this thing called higher self, God, source, spirit, a world that works for all, we must reach diligently for that which is, like even the thing that I wrote, that Dr. Lisa read about, I will lift my eyes to the hills. But check this out. If I'm standing here in the valley and the hill is there, am I not still connected to the hill? Because I'm walking on the earth and the earth is connected to the hill, and the hill, therefore, and I are one. So even in that, I'm not reaching anything. Because even if I lift my eyes, am I straining for my, okay, eyes, reach for the light. Like, am I struggling and reaching for? No, I simply allow it to be. So when we're talking about this whole thing of spirituality, what is it that we're actually reaching for? Why are we reaching? Now, once again, for the sake of linguistic convenience, we definitely do a lot of talking about reaching. For the sake of linguistic convenience, there is nothing to reach for. Ernest Holmes said, there is a power for good in the universe, greater than I am, greater than you are, and you can use it, which I always tweak. There is a power that is infinite goodness itself. It is the universe in expression. And what it is, you are, therefore you can't help but to use it. You can't help but to use it because it's all there is. You are creation showing up as creation. Therefore, what you do is create. The only reason that Isaiah can create the amazing beads that Jody and he spoke about is because that which God is as creation is showing itself in, through, and as him, which gives him the ability to create. The only reason Felicia can do the amazing thing that she does is because that which God is showing up in, through, and as her is expressing this amazing power called creativity and creation. Every single one of us, whether it is a meditation and prayer, is that not creation? So Jody, that which God is, infinitely engaging in the practice. The amazing group. Didn't you love the group of Dr. Lisa and those folks? They looked like they was having so much fun. Couldn't even tell what they was creating, but they was like, we having fun. Same thing. And there were a list of, whether it's painting or beadwork or knitting, is this not all the divine expression of the infinite one showing up in, through, and as all that is? So what are we reaching for? Well, ultimately, it boils down to this idea that there is God and there's me. And we've been conditioned to this idea that what God is, he is way up there and I'm way down here and I need to do something different to be able to reach him. So I pray diligently, dear Lord God, please reach down and lift me up, God. Like, that's the idea that we still have in many ways, we still carry because it is deeply ingrained in our culture. It's deeply ingrained in us. So there are moments when we will say something that I don't really mean that, but because it's programmed into us, we slip up and say things. One day, if look, for example, when we talk about cosmic 2x4, how many of us that we do or we says, I was doing such and such and the universe and set me on the right path. How is that any different than an anthropomorphic God who is punishing you saying, oh, no, Jody, I told you to take a left. Why are you taking a right? Okay, I'm going. Like, why is that any different? You're changing the name. But it's the same paradigm, same consciousness of an anthropomorphic force that is watching you saying, Jesse, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, over here. Tracy, hey, Tracy, move over here back where I told you to put the red sticker on. How is that any different? But the idea is if there is only one power and one presence, that is everything. As Voltaire said, God is a circle whose circumference is nowhere and whose center is everywhere, then everywhere we are, it is. Everything that we are, it is. It does not matter because there is only what it is showing up as us. There is only God, and it is incarnating itself as you. Breathe, because that's a challenging thing for us to oftentimes take in. Why? Because we have been conditioned for so long to believe that we are not worthy, we do not deserve, we are beneath that which God is. We punish our own selves and say things like, oh, when will I ever learn? Oh, I'm such a klutz. I'm so clumsy. I'm such this. I'm such that. I will never be good at this. I've never been able to. I can't. Oh, if only I were able to. How often do we degrade and criticize and judge and belittle ourselves simply because that idea has been deeply ingrained in us. But if we are truly going to ground and anchor in this idea, recognizing who and what it is, then the invitation is to recognize there is no separation. Ernest Holmes says, we know that the belief in duality, the belief in the power of good and the power of evil, pause. How often, because of that conditioning, the power of evil. So how many of us remember the story of Jesus in the desert? Okay. So you may remember that there came a time when, well, if you do this, boom. Well, if you do that, boom. And then the third thing, well, if you do, and at some point Jesus was like, look, bruh, I done had it with you. Get thee behind me, Satan. Right? Now, in our teaching, we understand that Satan is the consciousness that believes in the lie. So in other words, Jesus is doing his thing and something is whispering, hey, you really think you're all that good. Hey, you're really not that. And at some point, Jesus said, whew, breathe. That which is a lie, get behind me. You will not be the guiding force that is moving me forward. I am going in this direction, not in this direction. So I release anything that is untrue about myself. There is no power of evil. There is no anthropomorphic. Now, people have asked, well, why is Ernest Holmes saying this? Keep in mind the audience to which he was speaking. He was speaking to a predominantly white male audience, who were coming to him from Christian backgrounds. And he's letting them know, I know you believe in the devil, and I am telling you that it is this belief in a power, good, and a power, evil, that is contributing to the destruction of humanity. Let go of this idea that there is a power for evil. Now, that doesn't mean that humans will not make choices that are not life affirming, but it means there is nothing that's saying, the old image of the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. It doesn't exist. So it's time for us to surrender this idea of duality, even though for linguistic convenience we do it. But when we are referencing this, when we are talking about God and oneness and knowing this divine power and presence, there is only one. And it is infinitely showing up in, through, and as us. When I love, and you love, and you love, and you love, there is only one power, that is love itself. And the reason that we can engage in that and feel it and participate in it, because it's what we are. Love is, capital L love, is another name for the divine. It's all there is. It's all there is. So when we feel it, it is spirit giving itself the space and grace to be what it is. Now, like I said, for linguistic convenience, we do this. It's either hot, cold, young, old, good, bad, blah, 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 pretty, ugly, tall, short. Like, we do this with so many things. Why? Like, why do we, there is infinite oneness, all there is? No, there's not. There is infinite unity. No, there's not. Look, man. There's hot and cold, good, bad. What are you talking about? I'm talking about there is only that which God is. How can you say that when you see such horrendous things in the world? Let's have a conversation about the consciousness that is creating these situations, rather than easily bypass it by separating and making it this or that. Anchor into, for example, when we reference things that are positive, we typically reference things that are good, right? And when we reference things that are negative, we typically reference things that are not good. In other words, bad. But as Jody mentioned, yin yang, positive energy, negative energy. The negative energy is God. The negative energy is the intuition. It is the divine feminine. It is the power to, it is the darkness. It is the power to create. But when we label and make it so clear cut. Don't think so negatively. Rather than people ask me, well, Dr. Ray, such and that's like, no. I engage in negative thinking at least 3 times a day. It's like what's her name said in Alice in Wonderland. Oh no, I think of and I do the impossible at least 4 times before noon. When I engage in the divine feminine, when I engage in the negative, I am stepping into the creation process. I am stepping into what it means to move in the flow of yin and yang. I am moving with it, not fighting against it. Some guy named Reverend Ray said, duality is also the idea of reaching higher. So good, bad, high and low. There is only what God is. God is not higher. And I know we talk about often, once again, linguistic convenience, higher self, lower self. I know we do it and it serves a purpose. But there is also that, let me anchor and ground and recognize what is the truth behind these words. There is only infinite oneness. That's all there is. God, source, spirit, showing up in, through, and as everything. Pause and breathe and take that in. Because everything that God is, you have to be. So if I ask you, give me adjectives, give me descriptors of what God is. And I'm not talking about that old white guy sitting on a cloud in the sky somewhere looking through a book. Okay, you take the elevator upstairs, you take the elevator downstairs. I'm not talking about that image. I'm not talking about that. Let's dismiss that whole idea. I'm talking about the infinite power and presence of love, beauty, joy, power, connection, that wisdom. How many of us claim we're not smart enough, we're not intelligent enough, we're not wise enough? You know, because my mom told me she said if common sense were coins, I wouldn't have 2 coins to rub together. Like, how often do we do that? If God is infinite intelligence and it is showing up in, through, and as me, then the truth of my being is infinite intelligence in human form. What changes in our lives when we connect to that? Ernest Holmes said, I changed the italicized stuff. It's my change. Don't tell anybody. If we speak from the point of view of the spirit, there can be no opposition to it. It is only when we completely abandon the human will, and recognize the pure essence of spiritual principle embodied in us that our thinking rises above. Once again, linguistic convenience. My remix, not if. When we speak from the point of view of the spirit, there can be no opposition to it. It is only when we completely integrate and utilize the human will. Because see, we act like the human will is somehow separate, different from God. If there's only God, then the human will is somehow an expression of it. The ego, it's not like, I'm the ego. I've separated myself from God. There is God and there is me. There is only that which God is. So the ego is also, but the thing is, we don't use it like a tool for our benefit. We let it use us. Human will, as it is meant to be used, and recognize the pure essence of spiritual principle embodied in, through, and as us. That our thinking is a conscious activity that collaborates with the belief in duality. Every time you give somebody a hug, you're collaborating with duality, because there's only God. But the moment I see you, I see you. That's separation. That's duality. But the moment I say, let us embrace, I am cooperating and say your name again. Oh, Jody, nice to meet you. That is a collaboration with duality. I don't walk up and say, hey, Ray, for there is only that which God is. So when I see you, I see myself. Ray, could you tell me? And Jody's like, but I'm not Ray. You're Ray. No, you are God. We are one. I am Jody. Oh, I like that. Yes. That means we making beads. No, so, but we participate in this. In order for Felicia to sing, is there one note or a myriad of notes? And the notes are separated by space. Because if there was only one note and there was no space between the note, then there would be no song, there would be no music. So you need the space, even though there is no space. You need the duality, even though there is only oneness. Catch my drift. So we learn how to cooperate with it, use it for the highest good. So how do we rise above this whole idea? Joel Goldsmith says it is possible for anyone to change the trend of their life, not by hearing or reading truth, but by making it an active part of consciousness in daily experience. Practice it. Do it. And it's not just when you're meditating. Meditating is great. Praying is great. Walking a labyrinth is great. But if you're God, is that not, when Felicia sings, is that not a spiritual practice? Yes. Is what Jesse is doing right now, is that not? It's God touching keys, which are God, sending a vibratory broadcast through the ethers, which is also God. How is that not a spiritual practice? If that's the case, then what could we possibly do that is not a spiritual practice? Everything. Question is, are we doing so from the awareness, knowing that in the same way, when Jody is doing one activity versus meditation, Jody invites us into the space of, right? But when you're a practitioner, that is here when you're cooking, here when you're driving. Well, for some of us, when you're driving, when you're gardening, when you're sweeping, doing laundry, doing whatever it is you're doing, that awareness, that consciousness is there as well. So the invitation is not simply to read about it, think about it, whatever. But I love to follow the spiritual teachings of Master Yoda, who said, do or do not. What's the next sentence? There is no try. Do or do not, which in our language is treat and move your feet, which is action. When we act, when we move, when we get up and be the very demonstration of. See, I can sit here and think about tithing. Claudette's going to have absolutely nothing to talk about in reference to. So hello, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Today, as we talk about our tithing member, Reverend Dr. Ray, let us show Exhibit A, 0. Let's show Exhibit B, C, D, and E, 0, 0, 0, and 0. Therefore, Your Honor, I convict him of not tithing. I convict him of being all about blah, 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 but, you know, he's not putting his action where his mouth is. He's not walking the walk. But ideally, whatever it is, treat and move your feet. The tree is known by the fruit that it bears. What is our fruit? What is it that we are bearing? What is it that we are doing? How are we showing up in the world? John Kabat-Zinn said, make a list of what is really important to you and embody it. What is important to you? Embody that. Is low self-esteem? Raise your hand if low self-esteem is important to you. Is that something it's really important to me, Reverend Ray. In fact, I'm getting ready to run down to 7-Eleven and buy a big gulp of low self-esteem because I'm feeling parched. Like, how important is low self-esteem? How important is the baggage, the trauma, the whatever that is that we have experienced? How important it is that for us to bring it back to this moment and say, oh, my life is miserable. Let me sing a song. My life is so miserable, I got to tell you a song about how miserable my life is. My dog, he done left me, and I'm sitting here all alone. Like, how often do we do that, though? Really think about it. And if we don't, because, you know, we know better, how many of our friends and family members do exactly that? Make a list of what is truly important to you and embody it. To bring anything into your life, imagine that it's already there. Why? Because, as Neville Goddard said, and he recognized imagination as God, all things are made by your imagination, for without imagining, nothing is made. So simply breathe and recognize that your imagination is a spiritual gift. How often do you imagine worst case scenarios? How often do you imagine not getting the job? Not getting the diagnosis at the doctor? We imagine, well, what if I go in and what if he tells me, what if he tells me I'm going to give birth to a lion? Like we let our imagination go. He said I might give birth to Puff the Magic Dragon. I'm afraid, Ray. I'm afraid. I don't know what I'm going to do if I give birth to a dragon out of my left nostril. Like we spiral and imagine all sorts of things that if we are really honest, we know that 99.99999% will never happen. And even if it does, the fact that we are there and we are present means that no matter what happens. Oh, what did Jody say? 20 years ago, huge tragedy, huge. And yet, because who and what we are as the divine, what did the divine do? The divine communicated with one another across state lines, through every city, countries, collaborated, came together. So what do y'all need in New York? What do you need in Jersey? What do you need in DC? We communicated, we collaborated, and we cooperated to demonstrate what love and service means. So it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what trauma I've experienced. It doesn't matter what trauma you have experienced. It doesn't matter what's going on in terms of if it has happened, if it comes to happen, then you must also have the capacity to face it, or it wouldn't happen. If it's showing up as an experience, then there is also the experience of health, wholeness, and well-being. If this is experienced, then so can this be. But if we are spending a lot of time separating, pushing God away, then ultimately what we are doing is pushing ourselves away. We are pushing the truest part of ourselves, who and what we are. We are pushing it away. So I know I'm about at my time. So real quick, when did this person become this person? When did he become, yes, Dr. Lisa is like, that looks very familiar. When did he become, when did he become who he is? And it doesn't mean when did he become a martial artist. Martial arts was something I learned. Visual arts was something I learned. American Sign Language was something I learned. But because of what God is, the infinite potentiality of that was always present. There was never a time when I wasn't Spider-Man, as we can tell from never mind. Like this idea, there was never a time where you were not the divine showing up. Even before you had the body you had now, you were that which God is already. What is our Declaration of Principles? Let me go through. So if you ever want copies of these, just let me know, because I'm not going to go through all these because time will evaporate. Oh, actually, I do want that one, though. So real quick, pause and think about this idea. Declaration of Principles says, we believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. What it is you are, period. Last thing, this is the practice to see and use duality to our benefit by being conscious and aware of the truth of oneness and the reality of duality. Duality or contrast is a necessary part of this experience. We need not become addicted to it, obsessed with it, or oppressed by it. Simply breathe and recognize, and together we say, and so it is.
That was fabulous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, if you would like to hear more nuggets of wisdom from Dr. Ray, oops, I guess I can take this off here. Check out his daily guides in this month's issue of Science of Mind magazine, or connect with him online at RaymontAnderson.com. Oh, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, and now we would very much like to invite Felicia Taylor back to give us one last song. Yay, Felicia.
Broken down and tired, living life in a merry-go-round. You, I see a fighter. I see it in you, so we can walk it out. Ooh, mountains, we can walk it out. Ooh, mountains, and I rise up, I rise like the day, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I rise up, I rise like the wave, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. When the silence isn't quiet, it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like crying. I promise with you and the world to his feet. Ooh, mountains, when you touch me. Ooh, mountains, and I rise up, I rise like the day, I rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. That we have each other, for that we have each other. Oh, we will rise, yeah, we will rise. Oh, we will rise, and I rise up, I rise like the day. I rise up, in spite of the ache. We will rise 1,000 times again. And I rise up, I rise like the wave. I rise up, in spite of the ache. I rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I will rise up, we will rise up 1,000 times again.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Felicia, thank you so much. You are such a blessing to our community. Thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts, I'm sure. If you would like to hear more Felicia, check out her new music on her website, FeliciaTaylorMusic.com. There is another FeliciaTaylor.com, so make sure you put music, FeliciaTaylorMusic.com. Yeah, I checked it out. And follow her on Facebook to hear more of her beautiful, beautiful musical creations. And Felicia has a single out. It is available on Spotify, on probably anywhere you get music. Amazon Music, Pandora. Get it from Rebecca. She's got it up right now. All right. Thank you. All right. It's now time for our conscious giving. We have just received such blessings. Thank you, both of you. And we can participate now in the law of circulation and give back. So I invite you to invoke feelings of love and gratitude and abundance and allow them to fill you and to fill the space around you. And now let's use the power of our word and speak the prosperity affirmation together. I know that the infinite abundance of the universe blesses and multiplies this offering, and so it is. Feel that. All right. Feel free to place your offerings in the baskets on the table for those of us that are here, and our welcome team will collect them at the end of service. For those of you tuning in virtually, we offer other easy ways to share your good with our community. You can make a one-time or recurring donation through our website, www.columbiacsl.com. You can text our donation to us at 410-498-6175. And you can mail in your check to us if you so choose. I think that's on your slide in the virtual world. All right, we receive and appreciate all the gifts and tithes. Thank you so much for supporting us so that we can remain a vital and thriving center for your spiritual nourishment and for mine. All right, and we know that as we give, we receive with abundance and gratitude. So please join me as we bless and receive every gift bestowed upon Columbia CSL. Together, we receive these gifts, knowing that they nurture and support our vision of contributing to a world that works for everyone, that is possible. Yes, and so it is. On behalf of our entire community, thank you for being part of our spiritual family today, and we look forward to seeing you again. And join us next week for our virtual celebration service with our current interim minister, Reverend Dr. Nadine Rogers. And our guest artist next week will be Jamie Lula. So that'll be fun. All right, I'll now invite any licensed practitioners that are able to stay after service today to join me at the front of the room and provide what we call 1-minute miracles to everyone here. Here at Columbia, we believe in the power of affirmative prayer. So feel free to approach any practitioner after service and let them know what you would like prayer for, and we will be happy to know the spiritual truth for you. All right, it's now my pleasure to invite Dr. Raymont to close our service with a benediction.
So breathe and ground and anchor and recognize that we cannot rebreathe yesterday's breath. We cannot pre-breathe tomorrow's breath. We cannot save a breath for a rainy day, but we can only breathe this breath in the present moment now. And it is from this absolute present moment, surrendering to the body's intelligence, because the body knows how to breathe itself. Because while we were doing this thing called celebration and service and enjoying fellowship, the body was breathing. It was inhaling and exhaling, nourishing every cell of the body, taking care of itself. But ultimately, what we are recognizing is that that is the divine, the universe itself, is breathing itself in, through, and as, incarnating itself in, through, and as each and every one and all that is. And so as we close this thing called service, we know that we now go out into the world to be of service, to be the very hands of, face of, body of, presence of the divine, presence of love, so that from the top of our head to the soles of our feet, we recognize it's all God. From the surface of our skin to the deepest particles of quantum matter, energy, atoms, and molecules, it is all love expressing. So we recognize that everyone we see and everyone who sees us sees the face of God. Everyone that we touch and everyone who touches us feels the very energy of Spirit. Everyone that we hear and everyone who hears us hears the very timbre of creation, the very tone of, the very voice of, the voice celestial, reminding each person who and what they are. So we go out in love, we stand in love, and we are being that which love is. In gratitude, I surrender to the law that always says yes, knowing that this treatment, this service, this prayer, every note that was sung, every meditation, everything about this already existed in the mind of God. Therefore, it is already fully formed and fully functioning. For in the mind of God, there is only one mind, and that mind is God. And in that mind, there can be nothing missing. So we know this is already answered prayer. We are already home. And so it is.
To go to God and beg, yeah, drop to my knees and bow my head, oh yeah, for what I need and what I wanted, and I got more need and more want. I used to look up to the sky, yeah, and say, God, why me, why me, why? And then I'd hang my head and cry. I thought no one could hear me. It's like combing the mirror instead of your hair. God is you while you're looking up there. Go within and watch the outside change. If you wanna change your life, you gotta change your mind. You got the power inside. The law will reflect what you say. The universe be rolling down away. I thought I wasn't good enough, yeah, and God was trying to make it tough on me, oh yeah, just to teach me to be strong, yeah. I thought to get near Him, I had to fear Him, until I learned that everything, yeah, was already given unto me. Oh yeah, and with the faith of a mustard seed, yeah, I could create it, demonstrate it. It's like combing the mirror instead of your hair. God is you while you're looking up there. Go within and watch the outside change. If you wanna change your life, you gotta change your mind. You got the power inside. The law will reflect what you say. Oh, the universe be rolling that way. Rolling, oh yeah. Rolling, that's how we roll. Rolling, all you got to do is change your stinking thinking. Change your stinking thinking. Change your stinking thinking. Change your stinking thinking. From time to time, something's stinking in my mind. I gotta change that stinking thinking. I know you know what I'm talking about. Thinking. They're doing it to me, life is doing it to me, and I ain't done nothing to nobody. I gotta change that stinking thinking. Lord, why change that stinking thinking? Sometimes it seems to me things just ain't how they supposed to be. I gotta change that stinking thinking. It's just me. Change that stinking thinking. Well, maybe I should just start combing my hair instead of that mirror. I gotta change that stinking thinking. Change that stinking thinking. Start thinking good thoughts and changing my mind. It starts rolling, rolling, And when rolling for things, the universe picks it up. Rolling and rolling. And I start thinking love, 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 love. It starts rolling. I get more love. Peace, peace, love and joy. It starts rolling, rolling. Love is so cool, and spirit is cool, and peace is cool, and God is cool. I am cool. Life is cool.